Alright, welcome back. Now I'm going to start by giving you a little bit of a backstory to this location. I'm at a place called Muriwai Beach, which is about 40 minutes west of Auckland, and I'm not going to be shooting any coastal photography in saying that. Just in from the coast there's a forest called Woodhill Forest, so I'm going to be doing some woodland photography this morning. Now, I came here last week to film a vlog and obviously do some landscape photography, and I came for the sunset and everything was going really well. The conditions were perfect. We had gorgeous golden light, warm tones, long shadows. It was the perfect sunset for woodland photography, but everything just went to pot and I have no idea why. Now, I'd like to hear some comments from you guys, because this is actually the first time that this has happened to me. There's been countless times where I've been out and it's been raining, flat light, drizzly, grey, and I've thought, you know what, I'm just going to go home and eat food and forget about photography for the rest of the day because the conditions are crap. But this is the first time it's happened where the conditions have been ideal, and I don't know what happened. I was just uninspired. I couldn't film my vlog. I couldn't find any images. I didn't even shoot one picture. It was terrible. So I went home feeling down, and even a week later I don't really know what happened. So has it ever happened to you? I'd really like to know. But anyway, I'm back in exactly the same location a week later, and it's pretty good because I found a couple of cool spots to take pictures. So that's one good thing that came out of it. Now, I've come for the sunrise, and I wanted, the same as last week, I wanted the golden tones and the long shadows and all of that jazz, but the weather has took a turn for the worse a little bit. Overcast, we've got a few gaps in the clouds, so it could be a case of just waiting for the right light, but I'm looking forward to showing you this first location. So I'm all set up, and I think I'm framed up as well. And this is actually a location that I've been really looking forward to showing you guys. I completely stumbled across this lone tree, and as you can see, it's just on the edge, on the perimeter of the forest. And I kind of walked out the forest and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And I think this is going to be a nice little memory for myself. I think it sums up the landscapes of New Zealand's North Island pretty well, especially around the Auckland region. And I love the luscious green rolling hills in the background, and just this tree isolated by itself. And I'm happy with the way that I've set up my composition, and the sky is actually pretty nice, to be honest. What I'm going to do now is just wait for the right light and for the best moment to take the image. So we've suddenly got some pretty nice light, and this is basically what I was waiting for. A little gap in the clouds that just obviously allows the sun to shine through and create these gorgeous long shadows that are coming off this tree. And also we've got all this dew on the grass, which is lighting up perfectly. So it's funny really, because I've been here now for about half an hour, and this is the first little bit of light that we've had, and it's transformed the image. I've kept my camera in this position, so the composition is exactly the same, but it's just given so much more to the image, and it's fantastic. This is pretty much what I wanted. I would have liked it to have been a little bit earlier, but this is landscape photography and you cannot have it all. All right, so I'm at the second location and this is so cool. Let me show you this really cool little bit of forest here. Just an absolute cracker of a location. So it's very, let me just sort my camera out. It's very messy, it's very busy, chaotic, but that's why I'm here. That's what I love at the minute about woodland photography. I think it's a lot more challenging, and I think it's really difficult to find a composition, and that is the challenge that I've got on my hands now. So the lighting is pretty rubbish, to be honest. It's extremely flat, very boring, uninteresting. So I think what I'm going to do is scout around and, like I said, look for a decent composition, try and find the best one that I can find. And because this place is only 40 minutes away from where I live, I can come back when the lighting is good, when the lighting's better. So I'm gonna have a little scout around now and see what I can find. All right, so I think I'm onto my first image here, and I had a little bit of a revelation. I was kind of wandering around trying to find the sort of simple shot. I was looking for any sort of foreground elements I could find on the ground. And you know when you get frustrated and you kind of go, oh, Jesus, something like that. And I did that and I looked up and I looked at the tops of the trees and I was like, oh, whoa, this could be a good image up here. And so, yeah, I kind of wandered around a little bit more, looking through my viewfinder on the camera, and just tried to find the best section, if you will, of this forest that I could find. And obviously we've got a really strong composition. We've got the trunks, which are just leading the eye up right to the top, right to the treetops, and then you've got the sky, which is blown out. It's flat and looks overexposed to the naked eye right now. And then the trees are dark and sinister. We've got a lot of shade in here, so I think it could work. I think there's a nice contrast, so I'm going to get myself set up and try and talk you through what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got myself, my tripod, my camera in a pretty awkward position, as you can tell, but we'll be fine. It's all for the shot, you know. So I don't really need the tripod, to be honest. I could just shoot this handheld. But I just want to make sure that everything stays as steady as possible. So I'm shooting at f5.6, so I ain't got anything in my foreground. ISO's on 100. We're in the shade, but it's still very bright, and it's on 1/400th of a second. So clearly don't necessarily need the tripod, but I've got it on the 2-second timer, and I'm just going to take one shot here and see how it looks on the histogram. And that's clipping the shadows and the highlights. So I'm probably going to underexpose a little bit. And that's fine. As long as I'm off the highlights, I don't mind. If I'm clipping the shadows, it doesn't bother me as much, because the trees are I'm not going to capture a lot of detail in the trees. They're going to be almost a little bit silhouette-y. So I've actually shot that at 1/800th of a second, so a very quick shutter speed. But the composition looks pretty cool. There's like diagonals coming in from each side of the frame of the tree trunks, and they all kind of meet at the top, obviously, all of the tree tops. And then, like I said before, the sky is creating a really nice contrast. So I think that's going to be an all right image. We'll see. I'll see when I get home. Right, this is so hard, honestly. The place is an absolute mess. It's chaotic. The floor is just littered with dead branches, pine cones, pine needles, horrible footsteps. I'm having a nightmare. One thing I will show you, what I found so far. I'm just going to turn my camera around. These gorgeous sort of red scales, I want to call them. And I think that's what I'm going to work on at the minute. So I'm going to keep looking around. I'm determined to find a decent, tidy composition here. So bear with me. Hi guys, I'm just doing a bit of sunbathing because I've had enough. No, I found something, I think. And this is the first time in my vlogs that I'm not going to use a tripod, just because my shutter speed's so fast and I need to be really low down. Neither of my two tripods, you know when the legs can kind of stick out almost horizontally, neither of them do that, so I won't be able to get this low anyway. So actually I want to show you one image. My favourite image that I've shot this year so far was shot at Mount Cook National Park, and it was without a tripod. It's up on the screen now. Got some gorgeous light. Again, shutter speed was very fast, so I didn't need one, and I just had to act quickly and get the camera out, handheld, manual focus, boom. So yeah, that was my favourite image of the year, and that was without a tripod, so it just shows you don't always need one. So here I've found one of these red scaly trees what I was showing you before, and I think they're just so interesting. And because the light's not ideal, I want to try and focus. I want to capture a little bit of the colour in this forest because there's not a lot, and by that I mean these red scales and the sort of orange dead pine needles that are on the floor as well. So what I'm doing here is lying down on the floor. I'm at 18mm to move that stick out of the way. So it's a nice wide angle, and I'm getting sort of all these orange pine needles in the bottom quarter of my image. Obviously I'm shooting in portrait, and all I'm doing is capturing this tree trunk with the gorgeous red on it. There's not a lot to it, and I'm shooting at f3.5, and I'm focusing on the tree, and then you're getting a nice blur in the background of all the other trees and the rest of the woodland, which is a pretty nice contrast. So that's it for this week. I think I'm happy with the images. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing if you want to see more of this sort of content, and go and follow me on Instagram. My name's Peggy Clear, and yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Out.